Gonna have to be careful. Carolyn's got the laundry up and exposing our underwear, and I know that really offends a lot of people. You know, most of my audience is in their 50s and 60s. I have a few, don't get me wrong, in their 40s, and even fewer in their 30s, but most of my audience 50s, 60s, 70s on up. And you know, they act like they're in 4th grade. Oh my gosh, you showed your underwear. I'll probably get in trouble for saying underwear. It's off grid. Yeah, just, I mean, I don't even understand it. You mean underwear is like something offensive? I don't get it. So this new channel, I know I've told you a lot about it, and I appreciate all those who went over there and subscribed. Some people say, hey, I don't like watching lawnmower repairs, but I subscribe for you. And boy, I'm telling you, I appreciate all of you. So we have nearly 1,200, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's almost 1,200 subscribers now. So that almost puts me out of range of my troll, who I think is going to unsubscribe when he thinks I have enough watch hours. You know, probably, I think he has about 200 accounts now. So at 1,200, if he unsubscribes all 200, that puts me right at 1,000 subscribers, which is right where I need to be. So, you know, he thinks he's smarter than me, but I mean, I knew I wouldn't have enough watch hours for him. I mean, I knew I'd get more subscribers than what I needed before I got enough watch hours. And I wasn't going to touch the subscription anyways, or the AdSense, I should say. I wasn't going to touch the AdSense until I knew I had enough subscribers that even if, well, I mean, I don't want to get into it. I mean, he doesn't understand the rules of YouTube, so that's part of his problem. But anyway, we got it. So I appreciate everybody. And if you would just so now we can get enough watch hours, if you're not a fan of that channel and you're going to go off and do something, if you could, you know, after this video you're going to go off and not do anything for the rest of the evening, if you could just play that up next box. I figured if I can get 2,000 people a day to watch one of those videos over there on another channel, that'd give me 250 watch hours a day just from this channel, and that would give me my 4,000 within a few days. Again, I've appreciated everything everybody has done for me. I'm not begging for the views, but if you just happen to think about it and want to play a video, I'd appreciate it. Besides that, even if you are not interested in lawnmower repair, I get it. It is a good DIY project. If your lawnmower ever breaks down, it's going to save you money to do it yourself. I got a video and I put it on the homepage of my channel of how to look up parts, and I think that's probably the hardest part about lawnmower repairs, trying to find parts, trying to understand the part numbers, and worried you're going to order the wrong part and have to return it and everything. So it's pretty basic how you order parts, aftermarket product. It gets a little bit more complicated, I think, ordering OEM, because you got to go through the dealers and stuff, you know, jacks a small engine and all that. But again, it's not that hard. So hey, I'm going to interrupt this video. Now I know I'm going to talk about it, or I already have talked about it, that if I can get everybody to come over there and watch my new channel, one video a day, it would give me about 250 hours a week. That would be fantastic. So seriously, if you get to the end of this video, if you could click that up next box and watch that video, subscribe if you're interested in subscribing, and give me that 4,000 watch hour, I sure would appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, I've appreciated everything all of you have done for me, but sure like to get over the top so we can, well, honestly, so we can continue this channel. Like I said, have done this in the past, I don't know, what, maybe 20 years ago now, and I didn't do it as a profession or even as a hobby business. It was, my neighbors would say, hey, I know that you're pretty good at working on lawnmowers, can you take a look at mine? Sure, bring it over. I mean, I lived in a little community. It was all gravel roads. It was a town. It was a township. It was actually called a village, and the whole town was gravel roads. I had 2 churches, town of 100 people, 101 people actually, and 2 churches. So I mean, everybody knew everybody. It was not, I mean, you go to the post office, you can run in half the town. So didn't have any grocery stores, didn't have anything like that. It was just a little village. So I would work on their mowers, and back then it was harder to get parts. I mean, they didn't have Amazon back then, so I'd go into town whenever I went into town. Now, I didn't go into town that often. Mexico, Missouri was the town that we went into, and he had there was a guy who repaired mowers there in town, and I would always order parts from him, and he would always say, "Oh, you're taking business away from me," and I'm saying, well, at least you're getting the business of the parts, and I knew he made a commission on them. So parts were pretty expensive, so my labor costs, I didn't charge a lot. I just did it because it was neighborly. But the thing is, the parts were so expensive, I had to really, a lot of times, just fix things without buying parts. You know, baling wire and just crazy stuff, and I hated doing that. But I didn't worry about my reputation because people were coming to me and asking me to work on their stuff. I wasn't advertising or saying I needed the work or anything like that. But here, I am advertising. I am running it somewhat like a business. So I want to make sure that when I give the mower back, or the weed eater, or whatever it is, that it's going to run, because they're just going to come back and say, hey, you need to fix this for free. You didn't fix it right the first time. Whereas before, I'd call them up, or I'd go over, walk across the gravel road and say, hey, you know, I'm going to use baling wire on this because the part's like $500. Okay. They wouldn't ask me to guarantee anything. If the baling wire broke, they'd say, hey, can you do it again? I'll throw you another $10. Okay. But here, I want to make sure it's done right. And you try to meet the expectation of the customer. So you want to keep the prices low. And my prices are really low. Now, one of the things I worry about, and a lot of my comment section absolutely scream at me about this, is I know some of my customers, or some of my potential customers, want me to have a shop. And I don't have a shop. So they're not going to ever come here, which is fine. Because since I don't have a shop, I don't have overhead costs. I don't have to have insurance for the shop. I don't have to have utilities and maintenance and taxes and all the stuff that comes with the shop. I would have to charge the customer. So that's just more money. Oh, you got to heat it, because then you'd be taking in pressure washers. I haven't taken in a pressure. I've been asked several times to take in a pressure washer throughout the winter. I just say, well, let's wait till the spring so it doesn't freeze. And they understand. But if I had a shop, I'd have to heat it and keep it warm so the pressure washers wouldn't freeze while I'm working on them. I'd have to have plumbing that I could run outside to wash the equipment. I don't have to have that now. As a matter of fact, I had one piece of equipment. I said, look, I'm not going to wash it because it's cold and it's freezing and the water isn't going to. I said, you bring it back in the spring, I'll wash it for you. Oh, no, I'm not worried about it. Don't worry about washing it. So, you know, you just try to keep the overhead costs down. Of course, like I said, you're going to lose business over that. But on the other hand, if I had a shop, more overhead, more cost, I'm going to lose business that way too. Because the people who could afford to take it to the next town over and take it to a shop, you know, an actual shop, the people that can't afford that wouldn't have any place to go. So let the people who are snooty and don't want my business or work on for me to work on their stuff, they take it over there, and that's fine. It's just the way capitalism works. So like I said, to keep my prices low, I charge about a quarter of what the shops around here charge. And Shadow 54 or 54 Shadow, I can't remember, he lives up in Kansas City, and he tells me the prices of things that are going on up there. I think he said $80. Don't quote me. I think it was around $80. I should have looked it up before I made this video, because he'll come back and say, no. But it was around $80, I'm pretty sure, to tune up a Honda push mower. Well, I'm nowhere near that. I'm way under that cost. I am actually, I think, under that cost even with a riding mower. But I'm still making money. But the key is when you give it back to them, you don't want it wrapped up in baling wire. You want it fixed. So, of course, I've been getting comments that I'm not a real mechanic. And I don't even know what a real mechanic is supposed to be. You know, I know my channel says shade tree mower mechanic, I get it, but what is a mechanic? Well, apparently you're not a mechanic, just like I'm not off-grid because I have power lines here and I'm too close to the road. Well, now I'm not a mechanic because you're just a parts changer. Well, that's not exactly true if you watched all my videos. I do a lot more than just change parts. I primarily change parts, don't get me wrong, but I've been known to clean carburetors. And so here's the point. I can get a aftermarket carburetor. Let's see, the last one I did was $16, I think. So I can get an aftermarket carburetor for $16, and I can put it on for an hourly wage. And let's just say that comes up to roughly 40 bucks with the wage and the parts. Or I can clean it, and that's going to be $10 or $15 more, because the hourly wage is higher than the cheap aftermarket thing. So I would actually make more money cleaning the carburetor, which would make me a real mechanic, I would suppose, than I make it changing out the part. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to rob the customer of money just because I'm going to get rich off of it. I want them to come back next year when they have the same problem, because they've left gas in it again. I want them coming back. And if I'm just taking their money because I want to be a real mechanic for YouTube, then I'm going to lose customers, and I won't be a mechanic at all, no matter what the definition is, parts changer. But I do change a lot of parts. And for example, the weed trimmer, I just did it, and I changed out the carburetor. I bought a new one, put it in there. Well, you can buy, what you'd have to do if you're going to rebuild a carburetor, you would have to buy all the parts inside, the little needle valve and the diaphragms and all that. And you buy those aftermarket. Turns out though, the parts to rebuild cost more than just buying a new carburetor. So you got the hourly rate of rebuilding a carburetor, plus the rebuild kit, and it's only guaranteed about 50% of the time that it's going to work. So you may have to do it twice. Do you charge the customer for that, or do I take the hit on that? So why not just get a carburetor that's going to work? So I think a mechanic is someone who is going to work on something, get it running correctly to satisfy the customer. I know these people are trolls. I know they're trolls. They just want to say something to try to hurt my feelings, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I said this the other day. Trolls say the dumbest things to make you sound dumb. You don't live off grid, you got a power line next to you. But I'm not connected to it. So how's that on the grid? You don't, you're not a mechanic because you just change out parts. Okay, then why don't you do it? I bet you don't change out parts. I bet you don't even figure out how to diagnose it. You know, we go through a process and you try to figure out what's all wrong with it. So, who knows? People just want to complain. But I'm not here. The new channel is not here. So everybody can sit around screaming about how I don't know what I'm doing or anything. My channel was, I developed the second channel specifically for the shade tree mechanic guy. The guy that is working, comes home, and on a day that it's not raining in springtime, he gets on his lawnmower, tries to start it, and won't start. So he has a few choices. Pull it up underneath the shade tree, try to fix it himself, or load it up on a trailer, or try to arrange some sort of pickup. It's going to cost him lots of money to take it over to the next town to get it fixed. And 2 or 3 weeks later, he might have it running. Whereas you can get on Amazon, especially if you live close to a warehouse, an Amazon warehouse, you'll get the parts the next day, and you'll be up and running the next day. Out here, it takes about a week to get parts. So in a week, your lawnmower's up and running, and really the only thing it cost you was a $16 carburetor. Do you want to clean a carburetor? Now, that being said, I have cleaned carburetors. People have asked me, no, go ahead and clean it, because they're in a hurry. So there are videos. As a matter of fact, I think, I don't know, I think I might have a video coming up where I clean the carburetor. Yeah, I know I do. It's on a push mower. So in a few weeks, few days, whatever it is, we'll be cleaning a carburetor. So if you want to clean a carburetor, so you don't have to order the part, there are videos out there. So to say I'm just a parts changer doesn't make sense, considering I'm doing other things. This channel isn't about making you a master mechanic, teaching you all the ins and outs of every little thing and every little mower. This is so you can get on your lawnmower and cut grass when your mower's not working. So if you'll click this up next box, I really would appreciate it. And it'll take you over to the other channel. And I think today is a brand new video. Not sure which one though. I wish I could tell you. So if I can inspire you to fix it yourself, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.